sit here.
Chair.
Oh, that's what that's for?
Yes.
Oh.
Ordained at the deposer's chair.
First I was like, I guess Kirkland doesn't want to sit next to me. No.
Actually, before we start, is there any way I could get some wine? Is that possible? Anyone? Anybody?
You and me both.
No? Thought I'd ask.
You can get your really sugary coffee.
That's not quite what I'm looking for. Thank you, though.
All right, are you ready? All right, please state and spell your name for the record.
My name is Iago.
Could you spell it, please?
A-G-O.
And could you please just briefly describe why you're here today?
Well, I am here because my general, the Honorable Othello, has been convicted with has been charged with the murder of Desdemona.
And how did you know the defendant, Othello?
He's my general. I served with him for many, many years.
And exactly what was your position in his army?
I was his ensign. I was a lower officer, we'll say that.
And were you satisfied with his position?
You know, it's tough because I've been working for a very long time, and you know, I've worked my way through the ranks of knowledge of people that I've gained, and honestly, I have to say that, you know, it's difficult not to be recognized, but as I'm sure you know, I mean, you're a beautiful woman, and I'm sure that you've had plenty of opportunities that have been taken away from you simply because of your standing in life, and that's difficult to swallow.
All right, and can you name anyone specific that was, say, ranked above you?
Unfortunately, there's many people ranked above me. So, I think I know what you're trying to get at, though. And there was one Michael Cassio who was higher than me in rank. Yes.
And did you ever go about how did you go about handling this situation with Cassio and that he was ranked higher than you?
You know, I honestly, I see Cassio. He's a man of good birth. He is strong-willed. He is smart. Graduated from school, much better than I did. And he honestly, he showed a lot of promise. And you know, I think it made sense that he got the position. Honestly, I mean, you know, I didn't go to school. Unfortunately, I don't quite look as he does. But I think he deserved it.
Yes, now, was there anything particular about Cassio's character per se that maybe led you to believe he was less honest for that position under Othello?
You know, I've known many men in my time as a soldier, and a lot of them have personal vices. It's the nature of the job. I mean, you kill people for a living. It's difficult not to be, you know. And you know, I think one of the biggest things with Cassio was, you know, he took a lot upon himself to make sure that he was in good standing. But actually, are you sure there's no wine anywhere? Anywhere?
I'm sorry,
No.
we don't have any wine here right now.
It's unfortunate. Yeah, yes, he's a good man. He's a good man.
I'd like to just sidetrack for just a moment and say, are you at all familiar with Othello's wife, Desdemona?
Othello's wife, Desdemona. She was in the background. I saw her. Yeah.
Now, to the extent of your knowledge, did you ever witness anything occur between Cassio and Desdemona?
I think that there were things that Cassio did that I thought were not exactly befitting his place in the military and befitting his stature as a man. Yes.
And did you ever attempt to inform Othello of these things that you witnessed?
I did, yes.
And so, how did you go about doing this?
Well, it was very simple, really. I basically told him exactly what I thought. I told him that, I said, Othello, there's something going on over there. And all he did was listen. That was the extent of it.
And now I'd like to direct your attention to a specific thing or a conversation that you had Othello listen to regarding a conversation that you had with Cassio. Do you think you can recall that conversation?
Of course. It was... yes, it was... basically, I told Othello that I would talk to Cassio and I would ask Cassio questions about women, and I would see what his response was, and I would let Othello make the final decision.
All right, and did you talk to Othello after this conversation?
I did, yes.
And to the extent of your knowledge, did Othello in fact overhear this conversation?
I believe he did, yes. I believe so.
And how did he respond to you after hearing this?
Well, he was not happy. But it looked like there was something else going on. In fact, I was terrified because it seemed like there was something else there behind him. And I couldn't really see what it was, but there was something. And it was not. I don't think it was altogether from God.
All right, now what did Othello say to you when he walked back out from hiding?
Othello told me, quite plainly, that he, hello, Cassio.
Hey, Iago.
He told me very plainly that he believed everything that I had told him, and that he believed that there was something that needed to be done.
And what is it exactly that he said needed to be done?
Well, once again, I suspected that there was something else going on. Because as he spoke, I heard another voice exiting his body. And that voice said that it should kill Desdemona. It was terrifying, honestly.
Did Othello say anything about Cassio?
He did, yes. Yes.
And what was that?
Well, he told me told me I should murder Cassio.
Yikes. And did Othello ask you for anything in particular regarding Desdemona?
He told me, I believe he said something about poison. And I've seen poison work. I know what it does to people. And I said, please, Othello, don't do that. If you are going to kill this woman, please, just strangle her. Because he's my general. I cannot speak out against my general. I must do as my general commands. That is what we are taught in the military.
All right. Now I'd like to just move on to when Lodovico and Desdemona entered. Do you recall that?
I do, yes.
And what happened when they arrived?
Well, I believe Desdemona spoke to Othello at length about Cassio, and then Othello, once again, with this terrifying thing behind him, he physically assaulted his wife.
And do you recall the exact day that all of this occurred?
It was the third day, I believe, second, something like that. It all runs together, I feel.
Are you aware of any events that took place later that day?
Well, there was a lot of things that happened that day.
Was there a murder later that day?
Oh, that. Yes, I believe there was, yes.
All right, thank you. No, nothing further.